still in everyday life, and my name is Walter Maiseje. We are with Victor Karamaji here in studio. He is the Public Relations Manager of NSSF. And Victor, the other day, actually in December, because it's not very far away from now, you concluded season 1 of Friends with Benefit. It's a campaign that we actually even run here on NTV.
That's correct, yes.
Yeah. And you're telling us that you have season 2, which is about to start. Well, from the previous, campaign, season 1, let's first understand the point, of what lessons did you draw from there that have encouraged you to turn to season 2?
Thank you. I think the biggest lesson really was that for every person who earns an income, however little, however much, you need to save some of that income, because at any one point you will need some money saved on the side to be able to take care of something that you did not anticipate. We saw from last season people, for example, who got their money from NSSF and went for life-saving surgeries. Actually, the winner of season 1 of Friends Benefits, a lady called Harriet, went for surgery of a brain tumor. She was able to use her money she had saved with NSSF, go for surgery, recover, and continue with her normal life. So that's the biggest point, that however much you earn, or however little you earn, it is possible, and it is very important to save some bit of income on the side for a rainy day, because it happens to everyone. It can be for, when you retire, when you have a problem, you need that money on the side.
Recently, you also, opened up the space for, people out there who are not employed by, who are not like in formal employment,
yes,
but they have their own jobs they are working with, they're working on. And you said they can come up in a group of about 5 or 10 or 15, and be able to get their remittances, of course, by subscribing to NSSF.
Yes.
So do people in that category also stand a chance to take part in season 2 this time?
Well, I think what you're referring to is a voluntary
Yes,
savings scheme that we started. It basically targets people who are not employed by a company that has more than five workers, because those then are mandated to save and contribute to the fund. So if you work for a company that has 4 employees and below, you can contribute via voluntary savings. And also, as an individual who had previously been saving with NSSF, you can still contribute as an individual through voluntary savings. But the question you asked of, do they qualify to take part? Well, people who qualify to take part in Friends Benefits are members who have received their savings from NSSF and have done something with those savings. It could be what you talked about, a medical condition, you've gone for surgery and recovered, you've started a business, you've started a school, you've done something for your community. Those are the ones who can take part in this campaign.
And what we know is that you have given out over 1 trillion shillings to, up to 250,000 people in this country, in their benefits, of course. So as season 2, takes lead, what's the selection process, and how, do you finally select the members that will then take part in the campaign?
Okay, what we are doing right now is calling for stories. We are telling people who have got their money and interested in this campaign to send us their stories in just 100 words. You can send the story via email. You just go to our website, www.nsfug.org. There's a form. You fill in that form and submit. Alternatively, you can go to any of our branch, fill in that form, submit your story. Now, when we receive those stories, and right now we have quite a number of stories, over 40 stories that have already come in, we'll then have a committee to verify those stories. We'll go to the field and visit these people who have submitted their stories, verify. Then we choose the top 16. Now, those top 16 will be subject of a TV show, Friends Benefit Season 2. And then we'll choose the top 3 from that TV show. The public will have the chance to choose by voting in, online and via mobile, but also we'll have a panel of judges who will be looking at those stories, and then they can advise which one is the best. So the top story will win 30 million shillings, the run-up will win 15 million shillings, and the third top story will win 10 million shillings. In total, 55 million shillings.
All right, so if you're out there and you are watching, Morning at 10 TV this minute, and you've heard from Victor Karamaji, and you'd like to take part, that is if you're eligible, you also want to know what the prize money is at the end of the day, because at the end of any competition, test, exam, there is always a winner. So Victor Karamaji, tell us, what does the winner take home?
The winner takes home 15 million shillings. No, I beg your pardon. The winner takes home 30 million shillings. 30 million shillings. Then you can do whatever you want with that money. The runner-up takes home 15 million shillings. And the third person takes home 10 million shillings. And all that, really, it will depend on how good your story is, first of all, how inspiring your story is, and how you're able to convince the audience. People will be watching the show on NTV, and those who will read about your story in the newspapers. How inspired are they? How good your story is, and what can they learn from it? Then be able to win.
Okay, so I'll give you also a chance to take your last shot.
Well, thank you for having me this morning. Really, we encourage the public to embrace Friends with Benefits campaign. It is a campaign that is seeking to start a conversation about how we can save more money for the good of individually, families, and also the country at large. You know that the savings rate in Uganda is one of the lowest in the world. Yet there's need to mobilize local long-term savings rather than relying on outsiders to give us this money. And if we all save, however much we save, that can happen. So we encourage people, send in your stories, embrace the campaign, support it. If you're a family member and you know someone who had submitted that, who got their money from NSSF, you can even submit a story on their behalf. Yes, that is allowed. Write a story on their behalf, then we'll call you and we'll get back to them, and then we'll evaluate, and then hopefully the story will be the best.
Okay. Mr. Victor Karamaji is the Public Relations Manager at NSSF, that is the National Social Security Fund. And he is saying the entries are now open. You can take part. You do not have to write down your own story. If you can't tell your own story, you can find someone who can tell your story for you. And you never know, you may be the winner. Morning at 10 TV ends here. Farida Nakaziwe is coming up next with Mwasuze Mtia. Have a good morning.